Alrighty, so let's have a quick look at everyone's favourite subject at the moment, and that is who the next All Black coach is going to be. Obviously, the process has started, and there is, according to the New Zealand Rugby Union, there is significant interest. But if you've been following the headlines like me over the last week, there just seems to be a number of articles coming out every couple of days of potential candidates leaving New Zealand. And at this point, it really seems like the queue at Auckland Airport of New Zealand rugby coaches trying to leave New Zealand is bigger than the queue of New Zealand rugby coaches applying for the All Black job. So I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen, but the two top names on that list, in my opinion, are still on the board, as in they are still in contention, and that is Jamie Joseph and Dave Rennie. But let's have a look at a couple of the contenders or possible coaches, that have been mentioned over the airwaves over the last few days. All right, so checking in on the New Zealand Morning Herald at the headlines today. There you go, significant interest. New Zealand Rugby defends narrow criteria for next All Blacks coach. So they've got to be a Kiwi. They've got to have international experience. Vern Cotter is leaving New Zealand to go take up the head coach role at the Reds Super Rugby side. Confirmed before the All Blacks job became available. I don't know if there's one here of Wayne Smith, but Wayne Smith also confirmed to be heading overseas. Oh yeah, there you go. So with Sir Wayne Smith, the professor, heading overseas. That's an interesting one. He hasn't said where he's going. But I don't know. I've come across a few articles on Twitter. The most reliable place on the internet these days. With him in a Kobe polo. So I mean, alongside Rennie, is he going to Kobe? I don't know. I don't think he's been there before. Maybe he's going to Kobe. Maybe Rennie. I think his contract's up soon, so he's probably on his way out. Maybe back to New Zealand. Fingers crossed. And then there's also, who was the other guy that left New Zealand? Or who ruled himself out? Yeah, Joe Schmidt has decided to stay on, I would imagine, in some sort of a director's role with Australian Rugby, which is a shame. That's a bit of a blow, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just I really don't think that these guys are all just turning their noses up at the job. I think they genuinely are moving on. I don't think anyone saw Razor leaving when he did. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It just takes out a lot of the possible coaches. But yeah, let's have a quick look at an article here talking about the possible coaches. We can. So obviously the front runner here is Jamie Joseph. By the way, this article is terrible. I don't know who wrote it. Sorry, Cameron McMillan, but there is literally no headings here. But anyway, so Clayton McMillan, Pat Lam have never coached a test side, so they are out. McMillan, I don't think anyone expected to come back anyway. Pat Lam would love to see him back in like a director's sort of overlooking role. Obviously, Jamie Joseph was the head of the pack with Rennie there too. As I said, those two, a combination of those two, I think it doesn't matter who's leaving New Zealand, whether it's Wayne Smith, Vern Cotter, or Tony Brown not coming back. You get those two, you have still probably taken the cream of the crop, in my opinion. Rennie's also the coach at Kobe, where Ardie Savea is currently on sabbatical. Probably doesn't mean a lot, but it's interesting. Here, they mentioned the Te Puke Farmer. I think that's Vern Cotter, who's ruled himself out, so we don't need to go through there. Robbie Deans. Robbie Deans. I think this one's Robbie Deans. That's interesting. He's been out of the job for a while. He's been coaching Japan for the last 10 years. Don't like that. Don't like that. I think we need someone who's a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think it wouldn't be. It would be good to see him back in New Zealand, coaching New Zealand before taking on that role. Gatland, 100% no. I do not want to see Gatland anywhere near the All Blacks. I don't know why. I do know why. Like I thought his style of rugby at Wales was shit, and I don't know. Like you look at Wales now, they're just and the Wales are terrible, but it's not probably because of Gatland, but I don't know. He just doesn't feel like the right appointment. He's a bit like a Vern Cotter in my opinion. Like just not the nicest style and relies heavily on forwards. You know, not that expensive. Not a New Zealand All Black style really. Um, so yeah, I think he's out really, isn't he? And then what else do we have here? John Mitchell. John Mitchell coming back. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I still haven't forgiven him for dropping Christian Cullen. Um, that'll be a hard one to swallow. I mean, I'm sure I'll get over it if he wins New Zealand World Cup, but yeah, I mean, tough to. Yeah, it will be tough. And Crowley, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's people like Crowley and Vern Cotter, they were always going to, like, they're more assistants than head coaches, in my opinion. So yeah, let's leave it there because we are like Jamie Joseph's the head coach, favourite. Dave Rennie as well. There's no point talking about it anymore. I think everyone knows the goings on, but it wouldn't surprise me if in the next few days we see someone else leave in New Zealand. Righty, so I watched a bit of USC on the weekend. Sorry, URC. At first time watching it, I wanted to see what it was all about, to see how it compared to sort of Super Rugby, to get what all the fuss was about from all the South Africans. And man, I was super impressed. Like, first of all, fan engagement, like the following, the crowds were really good. Like they're not huge stadiums, apart from the South African ones, but a lot of them seem to be fairly reasonably sized, but were packed out. Good support, even in like a winter's night, which is good. Something you don't see in Super Rugby anymore. And the rugby was pretty decent as well. Like it was a good mix of attacking and up front, forward play and stuff like that. So yeah, really, really, really enjoyed it. I only watched the highlights, but probably have to get into it over the next few weeks, and watch a couple of full games. But one thing I wanted to briefly look into a bit more was the South African derby, the Stormers and the Sharks, and how good it was. It's something we don't have in New Zealand, and it's something I'm a little bit jealous about. Is like the New Zealand teams in Super Rugby obviously play each other pretty much every week, so there's no real like big, exciting fixture when the Crusaders play the Blues. It's just another week, so you don't have this like huge jump in excitement and atmosphere that you get when it's like the Sharks are playing the Stormers in Cape Town or something like that. And it was awesome. Like the crowd was well into it. You could tell there was a good atmosphere, and it was just some really good rugby. Some incredible tries, something that you just like, crossfield kicks, and that leads me on to my next point, and that is that I am petrified of the South African backline. That's brewing. I mean, we all saw what they did to New Zealand in Wellington, but just looking at Sasha and Damian Willemse combination for the Stormers, they just look deadly. And the more they play together, I'm scared. I'm scared of what these two guys are going to do to New Zealand over the next, World Cup or two. I've got a couple of clips here which I'm going to play, but just oh man, let's just play them, and we'll chat more about it. Alrighty, got a couple of clips here of Sasha Feinberg Ngona Zulu and Damien Willemse, the combo that they're developing at the Stormers. I'm not going to analyze it or pick it apart because I'm not really good at that. I'm just I like to observe for what it is, which is a couple of really nice tries. So let's play the first one. First one's just a really nice backline move. Sasha uses pace to go straight through and then gives it off to Willemse. I mean, Willemse doesn't really do a hell of a lot in both tries. He's just the beneficiary of, nice backline move and having a guy like Sasha who draws so much attention inside him. So we go to the second one was a little bit more impressive for me. Just they get a penalty in there, probably about, I don't know, in the Sharks 22. Sasha backs himself, he taps it, runs across, draws in two guys, and then just puts Willemse straight through. And this is, again, another easy try for Willemse, but it just, those are only two tries in one game, but it just shows how dangerous they are and the partnership that they're developing. And Willemse, he's a big bastard, right? He can, he doesn't need a lot of help to get through the defensive line and create holes, but he just gets so much space with Sasha inside him because he's become like this household name, Sasha, and the same sort of vein as Dupont. He everyone knows how dangerous he is, and he draws in so much attention. He just creates so much space outside him. So yeah, super dangerous, nightmare fuel for the rest of the world rugby, really, and nightmare fuel probably for the incoming New Zealand coach trying to have to shut this backline down. Whether you got 3 tests coming up in South Africa, which is scary to think what Tony Brown's cooking for those, and then you've got a game in Baltimore, which makes zero sense, apart from like a big old fat paycheck for everyone involved. But yeah, scary times, and these guys are only going to get better.
Alrighty guys, just rounding things up from the video. I wasn't able to finish it this earlier because I had to look after my daughter, so I had to knock it on the head early. But yeah, just a couple of little things around the All Blacks coaching team. I promise that's the last video I'm going to do on it because I'm getting sick of it as well. But yeah, I'm keen to hear all your thoughts on who you think it's going to be, or maybe even a better question is who the assistant's going to be. I don't know. As long as it's not Warren Gatland. Oh my god. And yeah, any South Africans want to pipe up and tell me how good Sasha and Willemse and how much they're going to absolutely hurt the All Blacks this season. Always welcome. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you're still here, morning show, I'm going to get out. I'm going to start next week on Tuesday mornings. But yeah, anyway, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching again, and I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, and subscribe, please.